Is Kyle Shanahan creating a quarterback controversy, in your opinion, the way he's being so candid with his entire thought process of the offseason in a way that we know Jim Harbaugh would not have been?
Yeah, well, definitely he is. He's been very open about the fact that he was trying to. We mentioned it already. He's been very open about wanting to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo throughout this. He's named names now, so there's definitely quarterback controversy, I think, within this organization, and you're seeing it every day. Just now that with the fact that we have Twitter, you're seeing this argument constantly by fans. There's Jimmy, there's Trey, and no matter who they go with, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that guy to win.
Yeah, because it seemed like the team's narrative is like, look, this is still Jimmy's team until he gets benched or doesn't play, until he doesn't play well and gets hurt. Basically, it's still his team. And it seems like Kyle's narrative is, no, it's Trey's team, and he's going to play whenever he's ready, regardless of what Jimmy's doing, which is very interesting. And it seems like he keeps trying to hammer that home, like, just so you know, I wanted Matthew Stafford. Just so you know, like, the only reason Jimmy Garoppolo is still on this team is because I can't give Trey Lance the go-ahead just yet, but I'm dying to, itching to.
Yeah,
that's swear.
Yeah, no, he's.
Yeah,
yeah, no, he wants to go. He wants to go in that direction. It's clear, and the quarterback controversy thing isn't a bad deal. If you go back to 1988, and I think I mentioned to you about this before we got on, was Bill Walsh openly created that quarterback controversy before the 88 season, after from 87 going to 88, and he did that in training camp. There's interviews of him saying, yeah, we have a quarterback controversy. We don't know who our quarterback's going to be right now. Joe looks pretty good. Steve looks pretty good. So he was open about that whole thing. And in a lot of ways, I think that hurt that team. I know they ended up winning the Super Bowl in the end, but the reason they ended up winning the Super Bowl was because they got to the point in the season where it was a breaking point, where they were 6-5. And it was like, the game's got to stop. Montana's the quarterback. And then they just run the table from there, and they win the Super Bowl, And then Walsh retires, and once Walsh retired after 88, it was Montana's team from there.
Yeah. It seems to me, though, from Kyle Shanahan's perspective, like he may have more rope if Trey starts. Because let's go back to our premise that somehow it's been communicated to him that he's on the hot seat if he loses. It doesn't make the playoffs. Doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, he could go 9-8, have a winning season, not make the playoffs, be on the hot seat. If he goes 9-8 with Jimmy Garoppolo and doesn't play Trey Lance, it could be easier to hot seat him, to fire him, than if he went 9-8 with Trey Lance. It seems like anytime you go to the younger quarterback, you extend your timeline theoretically, because if you go 9-8 with the rookie, it's like, well, not exactly what we hope, but he showed a lot of good things, and things are only going to be better next year, right?
No. Well, I think regardless, I think the seat would be hotter if he did that with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think even if they go out there and they go 9, if he decides that he wants to run with Trey Lance, I think it's still going to be hot because you gave up all this draft capital for him, and whatever. We talked about the fan base has an affinity for Jimmy Garoppolo, and if you don't win with Trey Lance, it's going to be you made the wrong decision here, and it's your fault.
There's a lot of people waiting to say that.
Yes, that's you've got about half the fan base that's ready to say, "See, you blew it," and you got the other half that's ready to say you made the right choice, right?
That's true.
So the way that this whole thing's playing out,
God knows how the locker room split up when you think about it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to hear.
Hard to know.
It seems like everybody's kind of praising Trey Lance now, right? There's definitely been a shift in that whole thing throughout the off season since the draft. There's definitely been a shift into people seeming in the locker room seemingly buying more into Trey Lance. So it comes down to what happens in August here. If Lance shows that he's even close to what Garoppolo, and he's starting to move the ball down the field or hit those balls down the field more, you're going to see that the guys on the offense wanting to make that change.
Yeah, I would think so. Athletes want the best athletes to play. This is the way it goes.